some smoke came in. I guess he had rolled some smoke in, and he fired the first shot, and I knew it was live. I knew it was real. And my son thought it was a joke. He shot the front doorman, bouncer. He shot the cashier. And it was just loud, and he had smoke. He was trying to confuse people, and then he went to the right and just started shooting on the dance floor. And then there was a pause, and he reloaded, and I'm sorry I wasn't right there. And he kept on going, and then he reloaded, and he kept on popping them off. And we just left, called 911. There was already an officer on the street really quick.
I just started hearing these big pops, pop, pop, pop. There was probably 3 or 4. I hit the ground. I look up. The security guard's dead. Or I don't want to say dead, but he was shot. He was down. And and the gunman was throwing smoke grenades all over the place. I saw him point to the back of the cash register. And he just kept firing. I ran out the front door. I thought it was a joke when the shots started firing. But the gunman, he had a beard. He looked Middle Eastern or so. He was wearing a hat, black jacket. I think he had glasses on, like prescription glasses. But from what I've been told, there's still people in there, and it's an active shooter.
That was the first person we encountered here on scene, and I asked him if he was okay, and very so clearly was not okay. His eyes were as red as I've ever seen anyone's, and he was clearly just in shock. He was there with his father-in-law, and at times during our interview with his father-in-law, who was breaking down, went over to console him. This was still fresh. This was within an hour of this happening, and these people were coming out and reliving their experiences.
So I was on the dance floor dancing, and all of a sudden I heard the shots. I turned around and I saw it was an actual person with a gun, and I couldn't believe it at first. After the first round of shots, it was silent for like 5 seconds, and then a couple of guys that were next to me got up and started sprinting for the back door, and everyone just yelled, "Run, he's coming."
I definitely saw the shooter draw his gun, and I dropped to the floor. A friend yelled everybody down. I looked behind me, and there was spark, and smoke started coming out, and someone told me, like, that's a smoke bomb. So as soon as we all saw that, we jumped up, and I don't thank God I was able to run out the front door. I ran out the front door, down some stairs. It does not feel real. It feels, I'm in shock.
It's just amazing. There were probably 6 off-duty police officers in there from a couple different agencies, and I've already talked to a parent that came up and said they stood in front of my daughter. So it was amazing. It was amazing.
Yeah. So some people we talked to were by the front door and ran out immediately. Others were on the dance floor at the time and were simply lying on the ground. It provides no shelter, but someone shouted, "Get down!" And so everyone in the bar just kind of got to the floor, and only when the gunman reloaded, there was a break in the gunfire, were they able to run out the back door.
So you were at the concert in Las Vegas, and now you have friends who are inside this bar during the shooting.
And most of the people that were at the Vegas shooting were in there, because we all go together.
A gunman walked in, had like a submachine gun or a small caliber, and it had a big ass magazine. And he starts popping off, and then everyone ducks down, and then we start grabbing chairs and throwing them out the window. He had smoke grenades. And then I don't think he had flashbangs, there was smoke grenades, and he threw them, smoke's coming out. And then we just start running. There's only like 2 cops on scene after like 10 minutes. 10 minutes, there were only 2 cops on scene. And then we're behind this little barrier that's holding the garbage cans. and then he pops off a whole nother 30 rounds. I don't know, 30 rounds, pops them off, and then 10 minutes after that, more cops come, and they drag everyone out.
It's the second time in about a year and a month that this has happened. I was at the Las Vegas Route 91 mass shooting, as well as probably 50 or 60 others who are in the building at the same time as me tonight. It's a big thing for us. You know, we all are a big family, and unfortunately, this family got hit twice. An active shooter situation. Friends and I were on the dance floor and heard multiple gunshots, sounded like small arms, definitely not an automatic weapon. Made my way towards the east side back door. Did the best I could with another friend of mine who's an EMT to try and triage a little bit and treat somebody who had a gunshot wound to the chest. We knew his staging was not close, so that people that needed urgent attention needed to get taken to the staging area. And after we took a buddy of mine took the guy with the gunshot wound to the staging area. We went back closer, and we're just waiting to see if there's anyone coming out that need our help.
We were just dancing on the floor. We heard a couple shots. I told her to get down, all my friends to get down. We went in behind we stayed behind the stage, got out, went through the kitchen, went through the back door. She got out. I went in, got some more people to get out, and we just tried to get out, get behind a car, get behind something, and then
we just tried to take cover. We were dancing, and I saw someone walk in, and then after that, I saw just the shots go off, and we just got down. It was
just
such a
shots
blur.
and
It just
smoke
happened.
and just like little. He was shooting everything from the speakers to anything. So all we really saw was. I knew they were gunshots. I'm prior military, so I knew what they sound like. Everyone, I think, had a good idea on what they were because everyone dropped to the ground pretty quickly. That's all I got. Everyone just kind of trampled out of there as quick as possible. They broke windows and got out of the kitchen.
That is an insane amount of, and first of all, we all just want to thank you for coming to talk to us and telling us.
I was just there for like 10 minutes. I walked in maybe like 5-10 minutes before any of this happened. Wasn't even supposed to be there tonight. Didn't even get ready because I was just trying to be there for a friend, and I was outside on the patio, and a guy I don't even know who had seen me there was like, get down. He threw me under one of the tables, and then you couldn't see anything because I guess there was smoke. And then one of the guys who was there, they started throwing tables out the window, and they picked us up and they threw me and my girlfriend out the window. I'm sorry, I'm so awkward. I can't. You don't get over that, and all these people after Route 91, it's not fair.
6 of Dylan McNee's friends were gunned down. All of this happening just 13 months after Dylan survived the deadliest mass shooting in modern U.S. history last year in Las Vegas.
I heard the first few initial shots, and it wasn't until after the third that I was able to recognize that it was gunfire. People started screaming, running, and having to go through the severity of losing very close friends of mine at a place I call home, and then losing another in Vegas. Working there as past security, I knew that where my location was, that there was an exit door. Telling people to stay down, grabbing people that seemed to be injured, and myself and a few others giving medical assistance.
You stayed with your dad, a former firefighter.
I went around the parking lot making sure that there was no one else that needed medical attention and that people were in safe areas.
I didn't get a full visual on him. What happened was I was on the other side of the bar. He comes into the front door and just starts popping shots off. And they said it was, my friend from high school that joined the Marines with my other friends. And I saw him like a year and a half ago, and when he was going to CSUN for like a physical therapy degree. And I'm just in disbelief, because he killed my friends, and he was my friend too. I had some off-duty cops that were friends of mine that were there as well.
All of a sudden, I look over to the front, and you start hearing what almost sounds like firecrackers going off. And just started shooting people. The second he walked in, he threw 2 smoke bombs and just started opening fire at everybody. But I didn't really fully recognize that, it's an actual shooting, because you're in shock. I walked by somebody that was shot in the chest, and he was wounded by kind of an electric box. They were hiding behind an electric box trying to help him out. So my friend Nick, we went and ran across the street to try to get the ambulance to get to help to him. What ended up happening was the ambulance and first responders weren't able to get there for, God, it must have been like even 40 minutes. One of the girls I was with was shot in the forearm. She had a gunshot wound in the forearm. She touched the bone.
You were at the Vegas shooting last year. 13 months later, you got to deal with this.
Borderline was our safe space after. For lack of a better term, it was our home for the probably 30 or 45 of us that were all from the greater Ventura County area that were in Vegas.
In just over a year, you survived Las Vegas. You survived last night, but this one was literally down the road from your house.
First few shots, pop, pop. And being in the military, being in the Marine Corps, I'm aware of what that sounds like, especially in an enclosed area. And so I grabbed at least 2 people around me and yanked them as hard as I could to get to the nearest exit, which happened to be to my rear. We were still hearing gunshots. My buddy, who's in the Navy, he had gotten a good-sized gash on his arm, so that's when I lost my belt. Initially, tried to do a kind of a hasty tourniquet, and I have some, EMS training as well. So being able to grab a set of gloves, maybe find whoever I can that has extra gear or gauze or whatever compressive bandage.
Basically, heard the shots. It was a tall, probably 6'2", 6'3", dark figure, all black with his hood on, and he basically was unloading.
We heard smoke bombs were thrown.
I heard that also, but by the time we were out of there, he hadn't thrown anything, and it hadn't gone there yet. And saw a tall, probably 6'2", 6'3" figure dressed in dark clothing with a handgun, and he was opening fire on whoever was standing behind the front counter that you pay to get in. In the entranceway, a tall, darkly clothed figure holding a handgun actually opened fire on some of the people that I knew at the front desk. The shooter, he was a tall, dark figure, probably 6'2", 6'3", and he was pointing a handgun over the counter towards the workers that were working there and just started firing. Tall, built, bigger figure, maybe wearing a vest or something, possibly. All dark, blacked out.
I was looking at the time, I was looking directly at the front entrance, and I saw the suspect come in, pull out his gun, and start shooting. He didn't even say anything, so he walked in, didn't say one word, just pulled out a gun and started shooting. So he had like a quick disguise. So he had like a black outfit on, like black hat, he had some glasses, like a black shirt or jacket. And then a girl that got into my car had like a broken arm, and then I ended up driving her to Los Robles Hospital, and then just dropped them off there, and then I immediately just went home to my family. I saw a gentleman walk in like a black outfit, just like a quick disguise, had glasses, black shirt, and then I just pulled out a gun, started shooting, and I saw the first 2 shots that was at a girl that was working the front desk. Started crawling away to like the side exit, and then once I saw the door open, I started running out, and then I heard gunshots behind me, and they sounded close, but I didn't know if they were coming toward me or not, but started running.
I was on the dance floor, and then out of the blue, out of nowhere, during the middle of the song, I heard gunshots come from behind me. I turned around, and I saw a guy standing at the door, a gun in his hand, shooting. I saw 3 people drop, and by then, I was halfway off the dance floor. He didn't say anything. He wore all black. He had a black baseball cap on. To be 100% honest, it seems like it didn't really happen. It seems surreal. Just thinking like this could never happen to me, and then it happens. And then after, I'm just so shocked. It doesn't feel real.
It does not feel real. It feels, I'm in shock.
It's just amazing. There were probably 6 off-duty police officers in there, from a couple different agencies, and I've already talked to a parent that came up and said they stood in front of my daughter. So it was amazing. It was amazing.